The first in a series of crucial decisions on an electricity link between Fareham and France is due this month. It's a pretty big scheme that will effectively join the French grid with ours via a big electricity substation in Gosport. This decision could have a huge impact on the future of Fareham and the surrounding area in decades to come. Here's my report. Standing at up to 22 metres high and covering a large area of land in the northeastern corner of the Daedalus site in Gosport, the planned electricity converter would be a hefty new addition to the area. It would link the UK's electricity network to France's via more than 100 miles of undersea cables. The idea is that it will make our energy supply more secure, affordable and sustainable.
The national grid say that if we don't have interconnectors to bring electricity into the country in times of high demand, then the lights in the United Kingdom will start going out in 2020.
The station will be capable of exchanging 1,000 megawatts of power between Britain and France. That's enough to run over 1 million homes. Its design hasn't been finalised yet, but all the electrical equipment will be housed inside buildings. Now, this piece of land in the distance might not look like much at present, but by 2020 it could house the big new converter station where electricity would be transformed from DC into AC current that we use in our homes. The converter station is just part of a series of big plans for the Daedalus site. Alongside the expansion of the Solent airport, it's hoped many more businesses and industries will move in here. The question is, will the presence of a big converter station put them off? Investigations carried out on behalf of the council and National Grid suggest the impact of the station in terms of noise, electromagnetic radiation and vibration would not be significant.
I think it's quite natural that people would be concerned. I am concerned. I asked a lot of questions of National Grid, and a lot of consultants have done a lot of work for National Grid and from Fareham Borough Council looking at all of those things, and the results of those concerns are what will be presented to the Planning Committee, the results of those consultants' reports. So it's looking at things like electromagnetic radiation, what effect does it have in the local area, and of course very importantly, what effect does it have on aircraft and airport operations, because I've been very clear that we won't allow anything to happen here at the Solent airport at Daedalus which will adversely affect the airport operations and of course the enterprise zone and the businesses which are here as well, plus the residents that live around the area. We're investing around £50 million into the Solent airport and the business parks to help in the creation of 3,500 new jobs here. The last thing we want is something coming along which would physically damage that.
Gosport's MP Caroline Dinage has voiced her concerns to the Home Secretary and to local planners. She says the Interconnector runs counter to the strategy for Daedalus as a hub for employment and training. After it's built, it would likely employ just a handful of staff. And residents have their own concerns.
Well, there's a whole range of potential problems. The one that's likely to have most effect on people living near to the building itself, which is a transformer station, is the potential for noise. We all know electricity substations hum. It depends how loud that hum is going to be. Because of the nature of this equipment, it'll have a lot of air conditioning equipment, and that makes a lot of noise as well. It's a very quiet part of Lee, it borders between Lee and Stubbington there, and the noise level at night is very low, so a relatively low amount of noise, 24/7, could cause people a lot of nuisance locally. We've had reassurances from National Grid that they're going to soundproof it and do this and do that. But if it doesn't, and they've built the building, our concerns is there'll then be a lot of waivers will come through, and people's lives locally will be made a misery. There are about 7 or 8 of these interconnector facilities in existence all around the country. None of them at the moment have been placed in the middle of a residential area, and that's the key to the problem at Daedalus. The nearest houses are only 200 and something metres away. I think there's a huge bulldozer just driving this thing on. I hate to say it, but the amount of money that Fareham Council are likely to get if this project is successful could well have caused this bulldozer to accelerate.
People from Gosport and Fareham are being invited to Farnham Hall on the 23rd of January to voice their opinions before the first of these crucial planning decisions is made. Charlotte Bouredney, that's Solent.